Some people talk about starting over, how it's exciting, how it's empowering, and it's a fresh start. And in some ways it is. But nobody warned me about what it was actually going to cost. And I'm not just talking about money. I lost things that I didn't even know that I was going to lose. Things you can't put a dollar amount on. And today I want to be honest with you about all of it. Because if you are in the middle of starting over right now, or if you're standing at the edge, wondering if you're going to be able to go through it, I want you to go through it with your eyes open. I'm going to talk today about the financial cost, the emotional cost, and the cost that nobody ever brings up, the one that hit me the hardest. The short version is I was a single mom. I filed for bankruptcy. I almost lost my house to foreclosure. I had to cash out my 401k just to survive. The financial cost of starting over is the obvious part. It's that you lose whatever you had, whatever you built, whatever you saved, and whatever you thought you had. It's all gone. But here's the part nobody warned me about. When you start over at 60, you're starting over at a time where everybody my age has grown their savings, has grown their retirement quietly for over 30 years. They have equity, they have a savings, and they have a safety net. I am starting from zero. That is a specific kind of fear that I think younger people have no idea about, and they don't fully understand. It's not about the money. It's not all about the money right now. It's actually, what does the rest of my life actually look like? I had a pretty nice 401k savings. As a single mom, I felt the only way that I could survive, the only way that I could get through and pay debt and live day to day, keep a roof over our heads, is to take money, take a loan out on that 401k, which I did several times. And over the years, I did it. And over the years, I did it mostly as a last resort. But what I want to tell you is what happened on the other side of that financial cost. A year ago, I sold my home. And I took everything that I made from the sale of that home and paid off the remainder of my debt. And I took the rest of that money and put it in savings. And I moved to an apartment in the country where I want to live, where I want to find a house. And for the first time in a long time, I could breathe. I'm renting an apartment now. I'm saving money, and I have a goal. A small, simple house in the country where I can live a peaceful life. And for the first time in a long time, those goals feel real. So yes, the financial cost is real, but what it cost me was my freedom and my peace. And this is what nobody talks about. It's harder than the financial cost, harder than that bank balance. When you're 60 years old and you're starting over, there's an emotion that I was not prepared for. It's the grief, and it's not the grief for what I had. Because honestly, what I had was a lot of debt and a lot of stress and a lot of fear. But I have grief for the life that I thought I was supposed to have by now. At 60, I thought I would be settled. I thought I would be secure, maybe even thinking about retiring someday. I guess that's the life that I had in my head, and starting over means letting go of that. It means grieving the future that you spent decades expecting that you would have, and the shame. With bankruptcy comes shame. Foreclosure carries shame. Drinking carries shame. I carried all three, and that shame kept me quiet for a long time. I didn't talk about it. I didn't ask for help. I kept my head down and just kept going. And the silence cost me. It cost me connection. It cost me the chance to hear from somebody that was in the same situation, which is part of why I started this channel. If you are watching this and you are carrying shame about your finances, about your future, about your health, and about your past, I want you to hear what I'm saying. You are not the only one, and your story is not over. And the loneliness. I raised my son alone for 20 years. There was no partner to share it with. Every hard decision, every scary bill, I had to carry all of that alone. I didn't know how we were going to make it, and it was all on me. And starting over, I'm still alone, but not in a sad way. I've made peace with that. But the emotional cost of doing hard things without a partner is real. And I think a lot of you probably know what I'm talking about. The emotional part of starting over is the cost of letting go of who you thought you were going to be. And this is the part that nobody warned me about at all. the cost of your identity. For 20 years, my identity was wrapped around being a mother to my son and doing my job. Those were the answers to the question, who are you? I am a mom. I am a survivor. And then my son turned 20 and he doesn't need me as much anymore, which is exactly how it's supposed to be. And I'm so proud of who he is now. But that chapter of being a mom is quietly ending. But it's both liberating and it's also a loss. I don't think anybody talks about that honestly enough. And when your kids are growing up, you're raising them the best way that you can. And there's one day that you finally realize that you are raising them to go out on their own. You are raising them to let them go. And you are hoping that you did the best job that you could for them to be able to go out on their own and to be a good person and to do things that contribute to society, to do good things and to be a good person and to have a family and to be happy. That's all you want for them. And that day that I realized that that was my job and that job was almost over, it was kind of hard, but I am proud of him. I'm proud of the person he has become and the future that I see for him. And then the breast cancer. Surviving breast cancer changes the way that you see life. It's a sudden, clear message. And surviving cancer changes the way that you see time. It made me see and actually question, what do I want? I know a lot of women have spent time asking themselves that after they spent many years taking care of everybody else. That question almost feels selfish, like you don't have the right to ask it, but you do have the right. And you have the right to sit with that question and answer it honestly, without those old roles to hide behind, without the old story to fall back on. Who are you when it's just you? And honestly, I'm still figuring that out. And I think it might be the most important work that I've ever done. So is it worth it? The financial cost, the emotional cost, and the identity cost? Yes, it is worth it. I am not going to sit here and tell you that it doesn't hurt. It does. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy, because it isn't. And I'm not going to pretend that I have figured it all out, because I haven't. But I will tell you this, that I'm able to sleep at night without that stress of having all that debt. I make decisions without fear running the show. I am building something that is completely mine, not because somebody told me to, and not because I have to, but because I want to. There is a little house in the country out there with my name on it, simple, peaceful, and mine. And every week I'm getting a little bit closer to it. If you are sitting there right now on the edge of just starting over, I want to say something directly to you. The cost is real, and you can still afford to pay it. You didn't come this far to stop here. Before I go, I want to ask you something, and I truly want to hear the answer. What has starting over cost you? Not just financially, but any of it. The grief, the shame, the loneliness, or the identity shift. I know that you have your own story and your own version of it, and I think all of us could use the reminder that we are not alone. Leave it in the comments. I read every single one. If this resonated with you, I would love for you to stick around. Go ahead and subscribe. If you want to come along on this journey with me, I would love to have you. And I'll see you next time.